Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins, All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it might be worth more than just its face value? Maybe a quarter that's been sitting in your drawer, lost among others, collecting dust for decades. What if I told you that one specific quarter from 1965 could be worth a fortune today, and it might just be in your pocket right now, today? We're diving deep into the mysterious and captivating story of the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. It's a coin that millions of Americans have seen, held, and spent. But beneath its ordinary surface lies a twist of history, a production secret, and a wild value that could leave you speechless. Let's rewind time and step into the heart of the 1960s. It's 1965. The Beatles are dominating the airwaves, gas is 30 cents a gallon, and the United States is going through significant changes, socially, politically, and economically. And in the middle of all that, a nationwide coin shortage. This shortage forced the U.S. Mint to make a huge decision. Silver, once the primary metal in U.S. coins like dimes, quarters, and half dollars, was becoming too expensive. The rising cost of silver meant that the actual metal value of coins was getting close to, or even more than their face value. People were hoarding coins, and the mint couldn't keep up. So in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic shift. They stopped using 90% silver in quarters and switched to a new composition, copper-nickel clad. From the outside, it didn't look that different. Same size, same image of George Washington, same eagle on the back. But inside, a whole different story. But here's where it gets really interesting. Even though the official records state that number 1965 quarters were made with silver, rumors and whispers started spreading among collectors. Some claimed they had found 1965 quarters that rang differently when dropped. Some swore their quarters looked shinier, felt heavier, and just didn't seem right. And eventually, those whispers turned into reality. A few of these mysterious 1965 quarters were discovered to be minted on leftover silver planchets from 1964, possibly an accident, or maybe a mix-up during production. These silver 1965 quarters were not supposed to exist, but they did, and that made them incredibly rare. Now let's break this down for you. The standard 1965 Washington quarter is copper-nickel clad, weighs 5.67 grams, and has a duller ring when dropped. But a silver version of that same year? It weighs about 6.25 grams and gives off a higher-pitched, more vibrant ring. It's also a touch shinier and more resistant to tarnishing. Subtle differences, yes, but crucial ones for collectors. So how do you know if you have a valuable 1965 quarter? The first test is weight. If you've got a coin scale, weigh your 1965 quarter. If it comes in at over 6 grams, your heart might start racing. Second, take a close look at the coin's edge. The modern copper-nickel clad quarters have a visible orange-brown stripe from the copper core. But silver quarters? Solid color all the way through. No copper ring. Lastly, listen to the sound. Drop your coin gently on a hard surface and compare the sound to a newer quarter. Silver sings. Copper-nickel does not. If your 1965 quarter ticks all these boxes, you might be holding a truly rare piece of American coin history. Now, before we reveal the jaw-dropping value of one of these rare coins, let's take a moment to appreciate what makes them so sought after. It's not just the rarity, though that plays a huge role. It's the story. It's the mystery behind how a few silver planchets were mistakenly used in a year when they weren't supposed to exist. It's the idea that a simple quarter, worth 25 cents at the time, could now be a collector's dream. And that's why some of these rare 1965 silver quarters have sold for shocking prices at auctions. Are you ready for this? One of these rare 1965 Washington silver quarters, verified and authenticated, once sold for a mind-blowing $155,000. Yes, you heard that right, $155,000 for a coin that, to the average person, might look just like the rest. So next time you're going through your change, don't overlook the quarters. That 1965 coin might be worth more than your car. It might even be worth more than your house. You never know, history could be hiding in plain sight, right there in your palm. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible coin facts, and drop a comment if you think you might have one of these rare quarters. And remember, sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Stay curious and keep checking that pocket change. Top 2. You might want to take a second look at the change rattling around in your drawer, or even that old jar of coins that's been sitting in the kitchen for years. Because hidden among those quarters might be something more than just loose change. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1973 United States of America Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, under the right circumstances, could be worth far more than its 25-cent face value. This isn't just any coin. This is a coin with stories to tell, secrets buried in its metal, and value that could leave you absolutely stunned. To most people, the 1973 Washington quarter looks like every other quarter. It's got the familiar profile of George Washington facing left on the obverse, with the word Liberty arched above his head, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," tucked just below his chin. The date, 1973, sits firmly at the bottom, crisp and clear. Flip it over, and you see the majestic eagle, wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches, the symbol of peace and strength. But beneath that familiar design lies a story that most people never hear. A story of misprints, rare minting errors, hidden varieties, and collector dreams. And believe it or not, one of these seemingly ordinary quarters has sold for an amount that could change your life. Let's take a step back in time to understand how this coin became so special. It's the early 1970s. America is moving through a transformative period. Vietnam is in headlines. The Watergate scandal is heating up. Gas prices are rising. Disco is just around the corner. And across the country, coin collecting is booming. More and more Americans are paying attention to their pocket change. They're noticing oddities, mint errors, double strikes, off-center images. Some are just fun to look at, but others are worth serious money. Now here's where the 1973 Washington quarter enters the spotlight. The official mint records say that these quarters were minted in large quantities across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Most were clad coins, copper core with a nickel outer layer. Durable, practical, and intended for everyday use. But as with every mass production, sometimes mistakes slip through, and those mistakes can create treasure. Some 1973 quarters were struck with incredible mint errors. These errors include off-center strikes where only part of the coin is imprinted, double dies where the design appears twice and slightly offset, and even coins struck on the wrong metal planchet altogether, like a blank intended for a different denomination or for another year. These accidental rarities are what collectors live for. Imagine holding a coin that was never meant to exist. A piece of American history stamped in metal, made unique not by design, but by pure accident. And here's where it gets even better. A few rare examples of the 1973 Washington quarter have surfaced over the years with extreme detail, high-grade preservation, and flawless errors that make them incredibly valuable. These are not your everyday coins. These are near-perfect time capsules from 1973, preserved with microscopic precision and held in top-tier conditions, many graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS. Collectors go wild over high-grade quarters from this era, especially those graded mint state 67 or above. Now combine that grade with a rare error or an unusual die variety, and you're entering the world of elite coin collecting. These are the coins that appear at high-end auctions, the kind of auctions where serious collectors bring serious money. And that brings us to the big question. How much can one of these 1973 Washington quarters actually be worth? This is where things get real. While most 1973 quarters are worth 25 cents, and maybe a few bucks in circulated condition for collectors, the rarest, most pristine, and uniquely flawed examples have reached unbelievable heights at auction. We're talking about a coin that defies expectations, a coin so rare and so perfect that it once stunned the coin collecting world when the hammer dropped. Are you ready? Because one of these rare, high-grade, error-marked 1973 Washington quarters was once sold for a jaw-dropping total of $135,000. Yes, you heard that right, $135,000. For a single quarter. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you hold a quarter in your hand, don't just toss it into a vending machine. Look closely. Look for unusual marks. Check the edge, see if the copper core is visible. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the details. Weigh it, listen to it, compare it. That little coin could be your ticket to a six-figure surprise. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby anymore. It's a treasure hunt. And in that sea of loose change, among the millions of ordinary coins, there are still hidden gems waiting to be found. So keep your eyes open, your pockets full, and your curiosity alive, because you never know. Your next quarter could be worth $135,000. If you enjoyed this story and you're excited to search your change drawer tonight, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, and drop a comment below if you've ever come across a strange coin in your collection. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Top 3. We're talking about the 1991 United States of America Washington quarter dollar. A coin you might have in your pocket right now. A coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought. But what if I told you that one specific version of this quarter has sold for a staggering amount? A coin that looks nearly identical to the rest, but hides an incredible story and an unbelievable value. Let's dive deep into this fascinating piece of modern American currency. The year is 1991. George H.W. Bush is in the White House. The Gulf War has just ended. Grunge music is rising, and America is evolving fast, economically, socially, and even numismatically. And as part of daily life, millions of Americans are handling quarters, buying gas, snacks, or paying phone booths. Among them, the 1991 Washington quarter. At first glance, the 1991 quarter seems ordinary. On the front, George Washington's face stands tall, just like it has since 1932. Above him, the word liberty. To the left, the motto, "In God We Trust." And below, the year, 1991. Flip it, and there's the iconic eagle with wings spread, perched on arrows with olive branches beneath, representing America's balance of peace and strength. So far, so normal, right? But here's where things get interesting. The U.S. Mint produced the 1991 Washington quarter at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small d; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Hundreds of millions of them rolled out that year. And yet, a few of them were not like the others. Some of these 1991 quarters contain subtle errors, hidden quirks, minute differences that most eyes will miss, but coin collectors absolutely crave. These are what turn a common coin into a collectible. And if that error is rare enough, and the condition pristine enough, the value skyrockets. Let's talk about some of the possibilities. First, there are double die errors, where the coin design is struck twice, leading to overlapping images or slightly doubled letters and numbers. These are highly sought after, especially when visible to the naked eye. Imagine looking at Liberty and seeing a slight ghost image of each letter right beside it. That's not damage, that's an error from the minting process. Then there's the off-center strike, where the coin design isn't properly aligned. This gives the coin a lopsided appearance. The more off-center it is, while still showing part of the date, the more valuable it becomes. But perhaps the most dramatic and valuable error of them all is the wrong planchet error. This is when a quarter is accidentally struck on a metal blank meant for another coin, like a dime or even a foreign coin. These mistakes are ultra-rare, and they drive collectors wild. But condition matters, too. If you happen to find a 1991 Washington quarter with one of these rare errors, and it's been sitting in your drawer untouched, no scratches, no circulation wear, it could be considered in mint state condition. When coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, anything graded mint state 65 or higher is considered investment worthy. And that's exactly what happened to one very special 1991 Washington quarter. It had everything: a rare mint error, a perfect strike, immaculate preservation. It was the kind of coin collectors dream about, a once-in-a-lifetime find. And when it hit the auction floor, it didn't just turn heads, it broke expectations. Because this coin, this small piece of American currency that started life as just 25 cents, ended up selling for a truly jaw-dropping amount. And now, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. That rare 1991 Washington quarter dollar, with its extraordinary features and flawless condition, was sold for an astonishing total of $85,000. Yes, $85,000. One coin. One quarter. Worth more than many luxury cars. Worth more than a college education. Worth more than most people would ever expect to get from something found in a handful of spare change. So, what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you're counting change, pay attention. Look at the year. Examine the details. Is anything off-center? Are any letters doubled? Does the edge look strange? Weigh it, flip it, inspect it. That coin in your hand might not be just a quarter. It might be a hidden treasure, Because treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or ancient artifacts. Sometimes, it's right in front of you. It jingles in your pocket. It sits forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. It might even be waiting in a dusty coin jar.so before you spin that next quarter. Take a second to really look at it, because one of them might just be worth $85,000. Thanks for watching. If this video made you want to raid your piggy bank and start hunting for rare coins, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories, tips on spotting errors, and real-life auction results. And let us know in the comments if you've ever found a coin that made your jaw drop. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your quarters closer. Top 4. We're about to uncover the fascinating and unexpected truth behind the 1996 United States Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, under just the right conditions, could be worth far more than you'd ever believe. So stick around, because what starts as just 25 cents could end as something worth a fortune. Let's set the stage that it's 1996. The internet is still a dial-up dream. Independence Day is blowing up movie theaters, Tupac is dominating the charts, and the Atlanta Olympics are bringing the world's attention to the U.S. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are carrying around the exact same quarter, the 1996 Washington quarter, without realizing one of them might be worth more than a luxury SUV today. From vending machines to parking meters, this coin moved through hands unnoticed. But while most 1996 quarters were just ordinary, a few weren't. A few were different. And those differences? That's where the magic begins. Let's break it down. The 1996 Washington quarter continues the iconic design first introduced in 1932. George Washington's profile faces left on the obverse, with the word Liberty arched above, In God We Trust to the left, and the date, 1996, clearly stamped at the bottom. Flip it over, and there's the familiar heraldic eagle, wings spread in dominance, perched atop a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches. Above it, United States of America. Below, quarter dollar, a symbol of American strength and peace. This year, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Denver's quarters are stamped with a small d. San Francisco's are marked with an S, and most of those are proof coins made for collectors. Hundreds of millions were minted, and the majority of them worth exactly what you'd expect, 25 cents. But not all coins are created equal. Sometimes, in the chaos of production, something unusual happens. A small mistake, a misalignment, the wrong metal, a double strike, a planchet from another denomination. And when those rare flaws combine with top-tier condition and a little bit of luck, that's when you get a coin that's not just rare, but highly valuable. One of the most sought-after categories for the 1996 Washington quarter is the error coin. Let's talk about a few possibilities. There's the off-center strike, where the coin isn't perfectly aligned when it's pressed, leaving the design shifted to one side. Some of these are minor, but others? They're dramatic. A 30% or more off-center coin that still shows the full date. That's a collector's dream. Then there's the double die, when the coin gets struck more than once, creating ghost-like shadows or duplicate lettering. These can be found on the obverse or reverse, and the bolder and more visible the doubling, the more desirable the coin becomes. Even more elusive are wrong planchet errors, when a 1996 quarter is accidentally struck on a blank mint for a different coin altogether. Imagine a quarter made on a dime planchet. It would be smaller, lighter, and missing parts of the design. Rarer still, quarters struck on foreign coin blanks intended for U.S. allies overseas. That's not just rare, that's bizarre and beautiful. And of course, let's not forget condition. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. That a 1996 Washington quarter found in your pocket with scratches, dull shine, and wear from circulation isn't going to break any records. But a quarter that's been preserved in near-perfect condition, stored away from fingerprints, scratches, and air exposure, that's where the real money comes in. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70. Anything over 65 is considered mint state and highly collectible. A flawless or nearly flawless 1996 quarter, especially with a rare error. Now that's something special. And so, after all this, mint marks, errors, condition, what does this all really add up to? Well, one specific 1996 Washington quarter with the right combination of a rare minting error and a pristine grade, once left collectors absolutely stunned at a high-profile auction. It wasn't flashy. It didn't have gold plating. It wasn't encrusted in diamonds. It was just a quarter. But that one coin, simple, perfect, and struck with an error that made it a true 1 in a million, sold for a jaw-dropping price. And now, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. That very special 1996 Washington quarter dollar was sold to a private collector for an incredible $75,000. Yes, $75,000. For a coin most people wouldn't look at twice. So what can we take away from this? The next time you see a quarter from 1996, don't just toss it into a machine or drop it into a jar. Take a moment. Examine it. Look at the details. Is anything off? Is it misaligned? Does the edge look strange? Are the letters or numbers doubled? And most importantly, is it in perfect condition? Because it might not just be spare change. It might be your shot at $75,000. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as mind-blowing as we did, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more amazing coin discoveries, collector tips, and hidden history that might just be sitting in your wallet. And drop a comment if you've got any interesting coins in your collection. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp, your change close, and never underestimate the power of a single coin. Top 5. We're uncovering the shocking truth behind a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times. A coin that most people spend without thinking. A coin that could, under very specific conditions, be worth more than your car, your salary, even more than a house. This is the story of the 1982 United States Washington quarter dollar. And you won't believe what one of these is worth today. Let's rewind time and set the scene. It's 1982. The world is changing. Michael Jackson drops Thriller. E.T. is in theaters. The Cold War is still alive, and technology is just beginning to reshape the future. But behind the headlines and cultural moments, something strange is happening in the world of American coinage. Due to budget constraints and rising costs, the U.S. Mint decides to stop producing uncirculated mint sets in 1982 and 1983. That decision will later turn out to be very important. Why? Because fewer collectors had access to fresh-from-the-mint coins during these 2 years. Which means today, finding a 1982 Washington quarter in perfect, untouched condition is incredibly difficult. But wait, it gets even more interesting. The Washington quarter had already been around for 50 years by that point. Its design was familiar. The classic profile of George Washington facing left, the word liberty above, the motto "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date, 1982, neatly at the bottom. On the reverse side, an eagle with spread wings, perched on arrows with olive branches underneath. A symbol of American readiness for war and desire for peace. In 1982, the Mint produced quarters at 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. You'll know a Denver coin by its D Mint mark. Philadelphia coins that year? For the first time in decades, they had no mint mark at all. Here's where things take a turn. Because of the Mint's cost-cutting, 1,982 coins didn't get the same high-quality mint sets that other years received. So, most of the 1982 quarters that survive today are worn, circulated, scratched, and far from pristine. But every so often, one turns up that is different. Imagine a 1982 Washington quarter with razor-sharp details. Brilliant surfaces, untouched by time, circulation, or human hands. These are incredibly rare. Add a mint error into the mix, something like a double die, off-center strike, or even being struck on the wrong planchet. And now you're holding something far beyond rare. Let's talk about those errors for a moment. A double die error means that the coin design was struck twice, resulting in overlapping or shadow-like lettering. A collector's dream. An off-center strike occurs when the blank coin isn't correctly positioned during minting, leading to a dramatic misalignment. If the date is still visible on a significantly off-center coin, it's worth serious money. A wrong planchet error? That's when a quarter is mistakenly struck on a blank mint for a different coin, like a nickel, dime, or even a foreign coin. The size, weight, and appearance will look off, and that's exactly what collectors are hunting for. Now, let's add one more layer. Condition. A coin with a mint error is valuable. A coin from 1982, a notoriously difficult year for collectors, is even more valuable. But a 1982 quarter with a rare error and in mint state condition, That's when values go from interesting to astonishing. These kinds of coins are graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC. A coin graded mint state 65 or above is considered premium quality. MS 67. Now you're in elite territory. Combine that with a 1 in a million error, and you've got yourself something truly extraordinary. And that brings us to the climax of this story. Point 1. Such 1982 Washington quarter. Flawless in condition, struck with a rare and desirable error, and authenticated by experts. Once surfaced at a major auction. To most people, it looked just like a regular quarter. But to serious collectors, it was a masterpiece, a treasure, a dream come true. When the bidding started, people took notice. And when the final gavel dropped, jaws hit the floor. That single, stunning 1982 Washington quarter dollar sold for an unbelievable $115,000. Yes, you heard that right. $115,000. For a coin that most people wouldn't even glance at twice. A coin that could easily be tossed into a parking meter or soda machine. But instead, ended up changing someone's life. So what does this mean for you? It means that treasure might be hiding in plain sight. It could be in your car's cup holder, in a drawer in your kitchen, inside a roll of quarters you just picked up from the bank. The 1982 Washington quarter is proof that not all coins are created equal. It reminds us that small things, when rare enough and preserved well, can become shockingly valuable. So next time you're going through your change, take a second look. Look closely. Examine the details. Check the mint mark or the lack of one. Search for errors, weird edges, off-center designs, or unusual shine, because you never know, that one quarter might just be worth $115,000. Thanks for watching. If you love this story and you're heading off to dig through your coin collection, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more hidden gems, unbelievable auction stories, and tips on spotting rare coins that could be sitting right under your nose. And drop a comment below if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin. We want to hear your story. Until next time, stay curious and keep checking your change. Top 6. Have you ever looked at the coins jingling in your pocket and wondered if any of them might be hiding a secret? A forgotten treasure disguised as something ordinary? Because sometimes, what seems like spare change can actually be worth a small fortune. Today, we're peeling back the layers on a coin that's been overlooked by millions of people every single day. The 1978 United States of America Washington quarter dollar. It's easy to ignore, easy to spend, but that's what makes it so dangerous to miss. Because hidden among the countless 1978 quarters out there, there are a few that are unlike any others. A few that are rare, valuable, and incredibly sought after by collectors across the globe. And one of them has sold for a price that will leave you speechless. Let's begin the story where it all started. 1978. It was the late 70s. Disco ruled the dance floors. Star Wars was taking over movie theaters. Jimmy Carter was in the White House, and the United States Mint was hard at work producing coins for everyday use. One of the most commonly used coins at the time? The Washington quarter. By then, the Washington quarter design had been in circulation for more than 4 decades. On the front of the coin, George Washington's profile still stood proudly, facing left. Above his head, the word liberty. To his left, the famous phrase, "I in God we trust," and at the bottom, the date, 1978. Flip it over, and the reverse design hadn't changed either. An eagle, wings stretched wide, perched on a bundle of arrows, resting above 2 olive branches. Bold, patriotic, familiar. But here's where things get interesting. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced quarters in 2 primary locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia quarters carried no mint mark, while Denver's coins were stamped with a D just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Hundreds of millions of quarters were struck that year, literally, and most of them were made for one purpose only: to be spent, to be passed from hand to hand, unnoticed. But not all of them were created equal. With any large-scale production, mistakes can happen. And in the coin world, these mistakes are anything but flaws. They're golden opportunities. When something goes wrong during minting, the result can be what's called an error coin. And that's where the real treasure starts to appear. Let's talk about some of the rare and valuable errors that could appear on a 1978 Washington quarter. First, you've got the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't properly centered when struck, causing the design to appear shifted. If the misalignment is dramatic enough and the date is still visible, that coin becomes a target for serious collectors. Then there's the double die error. This is when the coin is struck twice with slight misalignment. It causes letters, numbers, or details to appear doubled or shadowed. These types of errors, especially on the date or the words liberty and in God we trust, are incredibly collectible. Now, here's one of the rarest and most fascinating possibilities: the wrong planchet error. This is when a quarter is mistakenly struck on a blank mint for another coin, such as a penny, dime, or even a foreign coin planchet. These types of errors are rare, bizarre, and extremely valuable when authenticated. But even beyond errors, there's another crucial factor: condition. Most of the 1978 quarters out there have been in circulation for decades. They've been dropped, scratched, rubbed, and used for everyday purchases. But a few, very few, were never spent. They were somehow set aside, preserved, untouched. These coins may have what collectors call mint state condition. The grading scale used by professionals like PCGS and NGC goes from 1 to 70. Coins graded MS65 or higher are considered investment worthy. Coins graded MS67 or higher, those are elite. Combine a pristine condition with a rare minting error, and you've got something truly special. And that brings us to the moment we've all been waiting for. Out of the hundreds of millions of quarters minted in 1978, one coin stood out from the rest. It wasn't shiny with diamonds. It wasn't made of gold. In fact, to most people, it looked like any other quarter. But this particular coin had it all: a stunning double die error, near-perfect preservation, and a certified mint state 67 plus grade. It was the kind of coin collectors spend their lives searching for. And when it finally appeared at a prestigious coin auction, experts and collectors knew they were witnessing something rare. Bidding began, and it escalated fast. People from around the country jumped in. Phones rang. Paddles raised. The auction floor buzzed with excitement as the bids kept climbing, higher and higher and higher. And then, after a dramatic pause, the final gavel fell. That single 1978 Washington quarter dollar was sold for an astounding $125,000. Yes, you heard that right, $125,000 for a quarter that could have easily been dropped in a coin jar, left in a glove compartment, or spent on a pack of gum.s. Oh, what does this mean for you? It means the next time you're sifting through your change, don't just glance. Look closer. Take a good, hard look at the quarters, especially the ones from 1978. Examine the date. Look for errors. Inspect the lettering. Check for anything unusual. Because you never know, you might just be holding a six-figure surprise. Treasure doesn't always sparkle. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Sometimes it sounds just like pocket change. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this coin story and you're heading off to check your collection, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more incredible coin discoveries, real auction results, and tips on spotting hidden value in everyday objects. And don't forget to drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare coin. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp, your pockets heavy, and your quarters close.